my friend Colin and I, we used to jam around with his little 4-track studio and record all these different styles of music and make things up and just purely record stuff for fun. And I was round there one day and we were playing some stuff, and suddenly I come up with this riff in my head and I started playing it. It was and I said, that's quite a little funky riff, and I come up with some chords around it, some sort of the bass line, and I said, let's record that now. And I showed Colin the chords. I think he played bass on it. He might have played rhythm, can't remember. So recorded this track and just named it Cloud 9 and didn't think nothing of it. Just made a copy each for ourselves, and that was that. That's how Cloud 9 really originally was sort of composed or come about. I was in the process of making this EP called City Jungle, and 4 tracks, and I thought I'll include this Cloud 9 that I've recorded around Colin's weeks before. So went in the studio and re-recorded Cloud 9 and mixed it along with the other 3 tracks. Did like sort of a pre-mastering test mix. Got it home and just listened to them, and Cloud 9 sort of sat quite well amongst these other 3 tracks. And it was a bit weird track, sort of a high tempo funk, this riff going on. And my parents used to get this newspaper publication called The Stage and Television Today. Got it for me, basically. It was all about the industry. It's a newspaper, The Stage and Television Today. And in this particular issue, there was a little piece on Jet Harris. And within this piece was a contact phone number for his manager. And I said to my dad, I said, wouldn't it be great, I said, to get Jet Harris, one of the legends, you know, I've been a big Shadows fan as well, wouldn't it be great to get Jet Harris on the EP? I said, phone the number. Bless him, he did, he phoned up. It turned out this phone number, the management, was actually Jet's partner at the time. So my dad talked to her, explained the situation, and she said, well, I'll talk to Jet about it, see if they'd be interested in actually being involved with this EP, Kevin Dean EP. And cut a long story short, he said, yeah. And I was like, what? Jet Harris is going to appear on my EP. So Cloud 9 was the track I had in mind for him to be on. A bit different. See, it wasn't like a typical shadowy type instrumental. It was just something completely different. So we talked to him. I talked to him on the phone and explained, and everything was arranged. So that's how he got involved, just by simply asking him, and we sort of got on like that straight away. It's good. Jet came down for 2 days, and the first day we went in the studio to record the track, well, to record his part of the track, because obviously the track had been already recorded. So we recorded his bits, and I think I added some more extra guitar bits as well. And it was quite tricky because, you know, while recording, the press come down, radio come down, interviews in between and stuff like that. You know, young 16-year-old with guitar legend working together. So we got that down, and then the next day we went into the film studio and recorded the video for the track. And again, that was quite hard because in between takes we had television come down, BBC come down to do a little piece on it, more press. It was great. I mean, it was a dream, really, thinking back to it. So we're just miming to the recording that we'd done the day before for the video. And he stayed in a hotel not far from where I lived with my parents at the time. So on the night of the recording studio night, the night before the film shoot, he came round with his manager and driver and had mother cooked a meal for Jet Harris. And my dad said, it was very strange. He said to him, he said, like, you know, in the 60s I'm watching Cliff in the Shadows somewhere, and all these screaming girls. Little did I know that charismatic blonde bass player would be sat in my front room one day with my son. You know, the equivalent of me sitting with Robbie Williams one day, probably, you know, so that sort of things. So that was great, spending time at my place and having a jam at mine. So 2 days in all to record this, you know, record the record and make the video. I hadn't seen Jet for some time, and I got approached by Dave Holbrook, Jet Harris' fan club manager. He said to me, would you be interested in appearing as a special surprise guest at Jet's 70th birthday concert? This was happening in Somerset, Weston-super-Mare. And of course I said yes immediately. And when I say surprise guest, Jet didn't know I was going to be there. So when we arrived, and myself and 2 roadies, Kim and Kevin, we were told to sound check at a certain time, when I think Jet had his sound check. So obviously he was appearing as well. So I had a sound check without being sort of noticed, really. And when we finished the sound check, I was whisked away to the dressing room and sort of locked there until I was due on. So I was locked in this dressing room, and then I was sort of chaperoned down to the wings of the stage as the concert was starting. And the concert started with like a slideshow of pictures of Jet, of all the people he had worked with over the years and appeared with, you know, pictures of Jet with the Beatles and obviously Cliff and the Shadows and all these people. And the last picture that came up on this slideshow was a picture of Jet and myself, taken from when we were in the studio recording on that first day. And it sort of paused on that, and Dave Holbrook walked out and said, well, you know, said to the audience, he said, that young lad there's Kevin Dean, and he made a record with Jet back in '89, and Jet is here tonight to play for you. Because at this point Jet was in the audience for this particular part of the concert. And so I walked out and did like 25-minute spot with Jet sitting just to my left. And it was incredible to experience to play not only in front of Jet, but all the sort of guitar instrumental fans from around the world. It was brilliant, and spent time with Jet after, had a meal with him and talked to him about all the old times and things, and it's a superb day. Superb, brilliant memory, and unfortunately it was the last time I saw Jet. My favourite Jet memory is quite a sort of self-indulgent memory, really. But when he came down to record Cloud 9 for those 2 days, I said, you know, we had the meal and stuff at mine. But after, I showed him my room and showed him all my guitars and stuff, and we picked up a guitar each and started just sort of jamming, just sitting there playing. This is when my parents and his partner and his driver were in the lounge, you know, just me and Jet playing. And I can't remember who started, but one of us started playing one of the Shadows numbers. I think it was Midnight. And again, I can't remember if I was playing the lead or if he was playing the lead. I think I was playing the lead. I started playing it. And he started playing the bass. This is actually on guitar though. The bass line behind me. We just played it from beginning to end. All the way through. I'm in my bedroom playing my Stratocaster, playing Midnight. Got Jet Harris backing me. And when we finished this number, he just looked up at me and went, thank you. As if he really appreciated us just sitting there playing it. And I said, thank you. Then we played a few more, and we didn't say a word. We just sat there just playing these Shadows numbers. That's my favourite memory. I'll never forget that. Amongst many other memories, of course. Well, Cloud 9 was released 2 or 3 times before. It was released on that original EP of mine. Then it was released on an album that followed the EP called Kevin Dean Volume 1, which included the 4 EP tracks. And then it was released on one of Jet's albums called A Fistful of Strings, and I think that was 1990. And all those releases have been deleted many years ago since. I presume A Fistful of Strings is deleted. And all these years on, just gone past the 20-year anniversary of it being released, and time for it to be released again, because it was never released on CD or digital. It was, you know, so remastered and re-released for people who haven't got it. So it's just, again, listening to it now bring back some really good memories of the recording process, etc. and I'm glad it's been re-released.